Hello my beautiful beings and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a full face of favorites makeup. Just some, makeup that I've been wearing for a while that I've come to love that I want to share with you guys. There might possibly be a few products in here that you enjoy as well. And if you possibly have, makeup products that are also your favorite, maybe leave them down in the comments below so I can try them out as well. So if this is a type of video you're interested in, whether it's just to see the products I like or if you're trying to find more products for you to use, then maybe like, subscribe, and stick along for the video. So first I'm going to start off with primer. My two favorite primers right now have been from Wetnwild. It's their matte primer and their rose Waterdrop primer from the Photo Focus line. I like to put the matte one where I get pretty oily, so I'll take a little dab of that and I'll put it on my forehead, my nose, my cheeks, and my chin. Just like that. Next I'm going to take the Waterdrop Rose Primer. And about that much because it is very thin, and I like to put that more on my cheeks and around my head just to kind of give like that glow. A few favorite Creme products as well for my contour and my bronzer. I really like these Fenty Cheeks Out bronzers. I use Amber for my contour and Butta Biscuit for my bronzer. So I'm going to do my contour first. And I like to just take it on more of a precise brush, so that way I can kind of get it chiseled out. And I only really use a light bit of cream contour. I'm not really heavy-handed on my cream contour. And I only really use it on my cheeks and my chin recently. I don't really use it as much on my nose because I do have oily skin. I feel like if I cream contour my nose, it just moves around a lot through the day. Now that I have that contour on, I'm going into the bronzer, and I'm using more of a stippling brush. And I'm just going to go in circular motions around my head and kind of blend it into that contour as well while I'm going around. I am a bit heavier handed on the bronzer just so you can see it a little bit over the foundation when I apply foundation. This is kind of just my base to give me some type of, sculpting. Kind of crazy, but when everything's put together it looks a lot better. For foundation I have two that I usually use pretty often. I usually mix them together. It's the Loreal Infallible Fresh Wear, and then the older one, it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I really like the Fresh Wear. I like the coverage. I like how the foundation looks really skin-like, but it can get pretty oily throughout the day, so I do mix in a little bit of the Pro Matte just to kind of combat that. So now that I have those two mixed together, I'm just going to apply that to my face. And I like to do little dots on my face. Everybody does it different. Have it placed on my face, I'm going to take a sort of setting spray, and I'm just going to spray it onto my beauty blender. I've said this in other videos, but I really don't like to completely dampen my beauty blender. I think it takes a lot of the foundation away, so I just get it a little bit moist with the setting spray. Then I'm just going to start blending it all out. And I usually, when I do use cream products, I start at the center of my face and then I move outward. So that way you're not disturbing as much of that contour, so you can still kind of see it through the foundation. So starting inward, and then I move out. Right, and moving on to concealer now. My absolute favorite concealer right now is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. It's absolutely beautiful. It gives like a kind of natural glowy satin finish. And honestly, I really haven't been using concealer as highlighter as often as I used to. Like I used to put it on like under my eyes, at my forehead, my nose, lips, side of my face, chin. Recently, I've just been doing underneath my eyes. So I'm just gonna put that underneath my eyes. Then I'm gonna take a beauty blender and I'm gonna start blending that out. And I just blending it out is so easy. It just blends so smoothly into the foundation. It doesn't look really thick or cakey. It just looks very natural and very hydrating to the skin, which has kind of been my thing recently. Like, I know I have oily skin, but I've been using products that don't mess with my oily skin and still give me a very like beautiful, natural, glowing finish. And I've been really loving it. And I think my skin has been loving it a lot more than all those matte products I used to use as well. Now I'm moving on to my favorite setting powder, and that is the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. I really like this one. It's very hard for me to find setting powders that I really like because of the fact that I am so fair. There's a lot of setting powders that do have a tint that are just too dark on my skin, and then I end up having to redo my foundation completely because I have, you know, light fair foundation near here, and then underneath my eyes it looks dark yellow. However, it has a tiny bit of that yellow tint to kind of give a brightening effect underneath the eyes, but it's not so dark that it makes me look like I have, you know, yellow under eyes. Plus the finish is really nice. It's not too matte, but it's not too glowy either. It's just kind of a nice in between. So I'll kind of let that sit underneath my eyes for a little bit, and then I'll take what's left on the cap and I'll just lightly dust everything else on my face to make sure it stays through the day. Also take a good bit on my nose just because I normally wear glasses, so I like my foundation to stay on my nose where my glasses are. I'm going to move into powder products, and I like to start with bronzer. My favorite bronzer has been this Milani bronzer. It's the Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in Sunlight. A lot of people compare it to, I think it was Marc Jacobs bronzing powder that was out for a while. I never tried that powder because it was kind of expensive, but I know I really like this one. I like to apply my bronzing powder with kind of a dense angled brush. And then I'll just dip into this. And I kind of go in circular swirling motions. I don't like kind of dab or anything. I just like to kind of push the product up and start swirling in circular motions. So that way it kind of digs into my cheekbones a little bit. It gives me a little bit more structure and warmth. But I really just, the main reason I like this powder is it's just so nice on my fair skin. Like, it's not too pigmented to the point where like I look muddy and I have splotches everywhere, and it's not too dark to where it doesn't work with my skin tone or too orange. It's just like a nice kind of bronzy light brown. I also take a little bit of it on the sides of my nose as well. Say hello. Yeah, say hello. Next, I'm gonna go in with my contour. This has been a favorite of mine for a very, very, very long time. I am so fair. It is really hard to find a contour that looks good on my fair skin. Usually contours are either too dark or they look really muddy. A couple of years ago, I was doing some research and found some YouTubers that are also very fair skinned that use this contour. It is the Catrice Prime and Fine. It's their contour palette, and it's in the shade Ashy Radiance. This is usually the only contour I use other than a few more high-end ones, but I like to take it on just a regular angled brush. And I kind of just only hit the corners of my cheek. I don't really take it down like too far. Some people take it down to like here. I really only just hit the corner of my cheek with it. And the same thing on this side. And now for my favorite blush. I really have been liking this blush. I got this with a bronzer and a highlighter in the same type of packaging probably like half a year ago now. And before I got these products, I wasn't really the biggest fan of Kylie Cosmetics. I've tried a couple other things from them, didn't really like them, but I've really grown to love like the bronzer, the highlight, and especially this blush. Like I use this blush almost every single day. It's like the perfect pink for my skin tone. And the shade is called Pink Power. And as you can see, like it's a pretty pink peach color, but it's not so bright. Like I have blushes from other brands that are a peachy pink color. They're so much darker. The ones just kind of pop too much, but this one just kind of just gives me like a nice youthful, like just flush cheek look. Like if I just tap even like a little bit, you can see it's just kind of, you know, just soft. But as I apply it, like it's really buildable, which I prefer. I don't like a blush where I dip into it and I have a, you know, splotch of pink on my cheek. And as I'm building it up, you can see like that peachy pink color, but it's just so soft and like pretty. It's not like in your face, which is what I really, really like about the blush. The type of person that a couple years ago I didn't even use blush. Like I'm not a huge hardcore blush fan. So to have a product like this that I can use that gives me a little bit of, you know, a glow and a flush cheek without being too much is honestly what I personally prefer. Now for highlight, I have two highlighters. I just really couldn't choose between the two, so I'm going to be using them both. One I just recently started using and I immediately fell in love with, and the other one I've been using for a really long time. First highlighter I have here is the Colourpop highlighter. It's their Super Shock highlighter in the shade Flexitarian. As you can see, I use this one pretty often. This is the second one I've bought. I went completely through the first one in probably a little less than a year. I've had this one for maybe half a year now. But this is just like a beautiful color, especially for my fair skin. And when you dip into like the pan, it's just so soft. Let me get a swatch on here. Like it's just a very beautiful kind of like a pinky gold color, but it's not so dark that it doesn't work for my skin tone. I take my highlighting brush and I'm going to apply this first. And just kind of go in like light circular motions. But as you can see, like my highlight is already popping from that one product. Like this is just beautiful and glowy. Next I have the e.l.f. highlighter. This one I've only been using for a couple weeks now, but it really became a favorite extremely fast after I started using it. First off, like if you don't like scents, you're not gonna like this, but I love the smell of it. Like every time I open it, I can just smell kind of like a fruity tropical scent. This one also has more of like a yellow tone to it. It is also a little bit shimmery, so if you're not really a fan of shimmer or glitter in your highlights, this probably isn't going to be for you either. But I just love it. Like when I want to add a little extra oomph to my highlight, this is what I go for. It's just so yellow and shimmery and pretty. It just adds a little bit of a pop to anything you wear. So I'm going to apply that to here. You can instantly see like the yellow that's in there and the shimmer that's in there now. It's just really pretty. Just adds that extra pop. And I'm looking for something a little bit more for my lips. And it smells delicious. So I'm gonna skip doing my eyebrows today. I've actually really been liking doing makeup looks without my eyebrows recently. But if you guys want to know what I'm using for my eyebrows, especially if you're like me, you have alopecia and you don't have eyebrows and you want to fill them in, this is what I usually use. It's usually what people use for microblading. Like when they map out the brow shape for when they microblade, that's what this is. Not really all that smudge proof, to be honest. I've been using this for a while. It smudges pretty easy. So if you tend to touch your face a lot, wouldn't be great for you, but I really love it. It makes my eyebrows look really realistic when I do draw eyebrows, so I tend to stick to this. If I don't use this, then I will use this. It is the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel, and what I'll do is I'll take the brow gel off, I'll kind of like put it on the back of my hand, and then I'll take the gel that's on the back of my hand, I'll kind of spread it around, get a good bit on there, and then I'll start creating brow hairs with the brush. And this is a more long-lasting, smudge-proof way that I do it for, like, if it's really hot out, you know, it's summer, or if I'm going to the beach or like a water park, just because it is more long-lasting. It's usually waterproof to a certain extent, and it's smudge-proof. Now on to eyeshadow. Eyeshadow was really hard for me to pick. I have a lot of beautiful palettes, like absolutely stunning colors, like the quality of the eyeshadow is really good, but I narrowed it down to one brand. It's two different palettes, but it's the same brand. The Colourpop eyeshadow palettes here. I've actually done a eyeshadow look with this palette on my channel recently, I believe. It's all yellow eyeshadows, like it's absolutely stunning. I'm not usually one for bright yellows. I'm not really attracted to yellows for some reason, but this by far like was so fun to play with. I also have their mint palette. I love this palette so much. The only problem I kind of have with these Colourpop eyeshadow palettes is they're like more soft, like kind of foiled eyeshadow shades. I've had to repress a few of them just because they're so soft, they have nothing to kind of stick to on the pan, so they fall out really easily. But other than that, like the quality of them is really great. Like the mattes, the shimmers, they're all wonderful. And I love all the different colors they've come up in these little palettes. So I will be doing a look with those two today, but I do have an honorable mention from different brands. So I will be doing a look with those two palettes, but before that I do have a brand that I really like eyeshadows from as well, just as kind of like an honorable mention or a second choice. It's BH Cosmetics. As you can see, this palette has been used a lot. I've had this for a while now. I really love all of BH Cosmetics eyeshadows as well, especially this one. Like I've used this one so much. Every time I open this palette, my eyes go straight to this shade. Like it's just a beautiful kind of like green color. It's got like a pink reflect to it, if you can see it. I always like tend to play with that color in every look that I choose, but like these metallic kind of colors are just amazing in pigmentation. Like when I first tried them, I was stunned by the pigmentation of these. Because when this first kind of came out, you wouldn't really see this kind of quality in eyeshadows. So again, like every BH Cosmetics palette I've had, and I do have quite a few, never have had a problem with them. Every single one I have, I do enjoy. There's some I like more than others, but I love all of them. So that is absolutely another palette and another brand that I would recommend and that are my favorite. Alright, so to start this look, I'm gonna go in with the shade Stinger from the Aha Honey palette. And I'm just gonna kind of take that across the lid, kind of using it as a transition shade. Alright, now I'm gonna go in with the shade Sweet Spot. I'm just gonna kind of deepen that up near the crease. Now I'm gonna take the shade Seltzer. I'm gonna start blending that into the yellow. It's kind of creating like a minty green kind of color between the yellow and that shade. I'm gonna go into the shade De Monte, I think is how it's pronounced. And I'm going to put that on the outer corner of my lid. Kind of get more of that mint shade back in there. I'm going to take the shade Sunburst, and I'm going to start putting that on the lid. And I'm kind of gonna shape it out a little bit over top of my lid as well, just to make it a little bit more dramatic. Give it a little bit more of a pop. And then I'm going to take the shade Mint Tea and Mojito Miami and kind of mix them together. And again, just kind of go a little bit over top of the eyelid. And under my lash line, I'm going to go back in with Sweet Spot right in the inner corners. I'm also going to go back in with De Monte and hit those outer corners. I'm not going to be doing eyeliner with this look today. I don't really particularly have a favorite eyeliner anyways. If I did suggest one, it would probably just be one of the Wet n Wild eyeliners. It would either be this one, the Wet n Wild Mega Liner, or the newer one, it's their Breakup Proof eyeliner. And it's just got a little felt tip pen and it's pretty fine, so you can make a pretty nice sharp wing. My favorite mascara, I've recently been using the Damn Girl Too Faced mascara. I have the mini. I'm a person who would, you know, prefer to pick a mini over full-size product if possible, because it, you know, it saves product just in case you don't use it all within the expiring date, and it's cheaper. So I have the mini of this one. The wand is really big. Like, it looks gigantic, it looks really intimidating, but it's actually really nice. Like, it separates my lashes pretty nice, and it just makes them look, you know, very romantic, kind of. Like, they're just very long and voluminous and just really pretty. So, just gonna apply that. But, like, when I first saw this, I was kind of intimidated by it, for real, because it's just freaking gigantic. It even does really well with my bottom lashes, like it doesn't clump them up too bad. Now that the eyes are done, I'm going to move on to lips. I have a few favorite for lips. So to start off, I have a lip liner. I use this lip liner all the time. I actually got it from my sister. She had it in one of her Ipsy bags, so it is again a mini. It's the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil. It's in the shade Whatever Walnut. And this is pretty similar to my lip color, so I use it for most lipsticks just to kind of shape out my lips, because my lips aren't the most symmetrical. So I go in with this first, and I'll just start shaping out my lips. I'm gonna take that and smudge it a little bit near the inside. I have a ton of lipsticks that are favorites of mine by far. Like, I have a whole collection of lipsticks that I absolutely love, but this one by far has been one I've been gravitating towards like a lot recently. This is the L'Oreal Age Perfect collection, and it is in the shade Glowing Nude. It's just an absolutely beautiful, kind of like orangey brownish nude, I guess I would say. But when I wear more like yellows and greens and like bright colors like this, I tend to gravitate more towards like a yellow or orangey nude than I do a pink nude, So this is what I've really been gravitating towards a lot. It's either this one, or for more of a pink nude, it would be the Bite Beauty Matte Lip Cream in Glace. And it's just a really pretty, like, rosy pink nude. But today I'm going to be going for the glowing nude. So we'll apply that. And as you can see, it is a bit too kind of orangey for this look. And I will take one of my favorite lip glosses and I'll kind of tone it down a little bit. It is the Maybelline, and this is new. Like, this is pretty new. I saw this at CVS like 2 weeks ago now, maybe. Instantly fell in love with it. It's got hyaluronic acid. Yep, hyaluronic acid in it, so it keeps your lips really, really hydrated. And this is one of the lip glosses that lasts for a really long time. Like, I tend to like move my lips a lot. Like, go like this a lot. And I kind of bite my lips a little bit. I shouldn't, but I do. And this lip gloss will last me like 3 hours, even with all of that. So I've really, really, really liked this lip gloss. Like, I've bought it in 3 different shades. That's how much I like it. I have another one with me. This is in the shade Petal. This is in the shade Reef. I have another one in my purse at work that I use throughout the day because I do not like having dry lips. I don't care if I'm working. I don't care if I'm at home. I don't care if I'm out about. I do not like having dry lips. So this is again in the shade Reef. So I'm going to take this shade and just kind of tone down that orangey look a little bit. And like, it's just so glossy looking. Like, I barely even put that much on. I kind of just swiped it in the middle. And already, like, my lips just feel so hydrated and they look so glossy and smooth. So, like, again, I've only been using this for maybe 2 weeks, but I instantly fell in love with this. Like, I would absolutely, if anything, if out of all of these products, I would absolutely recommend this lip gloss. It has by far been a favorite. Now that all the face makeup is done, I'm going to use one of my favorite setting sprays. This is the Milani Make It Last setting spray, and I'm just going to set my face with it. And I'm going to let it dry. Alright, and this is how everything looks now that my face is dried. You've got, you know, really nice smooth looking skin. You know, nice contour, bronzer, everything looks very blended, very nice, bright, very blinding highlighter. Like, look at that highlighter. Eyeshadow, I've been really gravitating towards really bright, kind of more neon eyeshadows with a lot of shimmer. I feel like that's just my vibe for the summer. And, you know, I always love a glossy lip. Like, that's just my go-to. I'm not really a matte lip person. If I do wear lipstick, I'll put a gloss over top. I just really love a hydrated glossy lip. But these are all of my favorites. I of course have more favorites, but these have been the ones that I've been using extremely often. So if you liked any of those products, I will leave a list of all the products down below so you can look at them. Find them, you know, CVS, online, whatever you prefer. But these have just been the things I've really, really been enjoying, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. So if you maybe like this video, get a like, subscribe, and I would love to see you in my future videos. That's all for me today, guys. Bye!